You don't have to do what you love. And there's solace in that you don't have to do what you love. The solace is letting go of things that aren't working for you or become tasks for you. Let me give you a couple of examples. For example, you might love watching YouTube videos. And coming out of that, you might feel a compulsion to produce your own YouTube videos. You don't actually need to do that. If you really want to do that, do it, but you don't need to. Another example, and this is a better one, I love bodybuilding. Always loved it. I think it's a relatively typical thing that most people go through, certainly young men in some part of their lives, where they just have that moment where they want to be physically bigger and stronger, look more muscular, simply just look better naked, especially for the gender that you want to have attracted to you. So if you're a heterosexual guy, that's usually, or that is, having women attracted to you. That's why we want to do it. It's a whole chain of events. So you go to the gym because you want to look better, to attract others, for sex. Okay, but I'm getting off topic a little bit. I'm talking a bit about the why. But I love bodybuilding. Got into it. I've been going to the gym since I was 15, got more and more serious over time. And it was only in my 30s I thought I'm really going to, really have a go at this and see where I can get. And I did. I was up to then, I was quite, I'd say skinny. I was less than 80 kilograms. That's 176 pounds if you weigh, 6 foot tall. So not packing on a lot of beef. So my appetite was never super huge. So I literally started to force myself to eat. The only time I didn't eat is when I was full. Even when I wasn't hungry, I'd eat. And even for a psychological, I found it so hard to get over 80 kilos. When I started, it was around about 67 kilos. So 67 kilos in pounds is about 130, about 143, 145 pounds. Okay, so not a lot, right? So I would force myself to eat to put on the weight. The other thing I used to do is grab a couple of dumbbells, and those dumbbells would only be 2 kilos each, one in each hand, or a 5 kilo plate, and I'd stand on scales and look down. And of course, that weight would be including 4 kilos for the dumbbells or 5 kilo plate. But what it did is give me visualization of the weight I wanted to get to next. And it made it real in my mind. Now that might be a tip in itself. Making something, it's starting to feel like you're normalizing something. And for me, I just couldn't get over 80 kilos. So to stand on the scales and see that I was 83, 84 kilos, I think it helped. I don't know, but I did get through it. I went from under 80 kilos for a long time and I got up to 93 kilos. 93 kilos, 180, 190, about 210 pounds. So I got quite big. But that was the problem. Being a skinny dude, a hard gainer, serious hard gainer, for me, this doesn't go for all skinny dudes, but for me, it meant when I put on the weight, I blew up like a balloon. It didn't go to muscle. It went to fat, which surprised me because I'd never been fat my whole life, not even close, because I was naturally a skinny guy. So I thought I was going to just be a lean but big guy. Didn't happen that way. Did all the aerobic, did all the physical. The food I ate was by and large relatively clean. Not as clean as it could have been, not by any extent. Anyway, my body, it just didn't work for me. So, this is where I'm going with this. I loved bodybuilding, but my body was it just was not my thing in terms of, I suppose people use the word talent. I didn't have the talent I didn't want to be a bodybuilder, but I wanted to bodybuild, right? So, when I say I didn't want to be a bodybuilder, no inclination to get up on stage. Wanted to be big, muscular, had the definition, but not get up on stage. But it didn't work for my body. Now, I just had to let it go. It took me way too long to make that decision. I should have let it go years before I decided to, which is the whole premise for this video. I wish I'd made that decision earlier, and it would have saved me so much heartache and it would have saved me so much time because I discovered something else. Let me talk about that in just a moment. But I let it go, but I still love bodybuilding, which means I still follow Mr. Olympia and the Arnold Classic and stuff like that. I like to see what's going on in the bodybuilding world. So I suppose you can say I love bodybuilding, but it doesn't mean I had to do it to love it. So I can still follow it, feel like part of it, because I'm intrigued by it. Especially all the conjecture that goes on at the moment in terms of, what size is the right size. The mass monster era, is it over? Where people have just gone too big. Do we need to go back to the classical look? People that have the real trimmed down waists and can perform what they call a vacuum, as opposed to those that have a distended gut, an oversized gut. So if you're in the bodybuilding sort of world or you follow it, you know that sort of terminology. But the key is this: by deciding not to bodybuild because it didn't work for me, and I gave it a number of years and I tried a number of different things, didn't mean I had to give up loving it. And in giving up the bodybuilding, it was actually massive for me. As I say, I wish I'd done it before. Then I went off and I pursued another sport, and that was BMX racing. And that was more suited to me. More, not entirely, but more. And I got good results there. And my age grade came forth a couple of times in the nationals. And that was over a progression of 4 years where I trained hard and got better and got through. And then I left that. And then I went to running. And running is something that's always been part of who I am. Now that is something I'm reasonably talented in. And my body anatomically works better for. And I lost a lot of weight again because I needed to. I went down to 72 kilos. And I'm always sitting about that window. Right here this morning, weighed in at 74. So I'm a little bit over peak. And I'm working back to get to peak. And that's been my weight over the last 2 or 3 years. But that weight is worlds away from where I was when I was BMXing, which was sitting between 84 and 86 kilos. So, we're talking at least a 12 kilo difference for running. Now, bodybuilding and BMX for me was way more exciting than running, but I'm enjoying running more because I'm better at it and I'm more successful. And now how I feel is I wish I hadn't spent those years bodybuilding when I could have been running. Now this is a big story, and hopefully I've enriched the point I'm trying to make with sharing my story. But the lesson is you don't have to do what you love. You can love something, but you can love it in a different way as opposed to doing it. You can love it as a spectator or as a fan. You can have a vested interest in it. You can support other people doing it. You could be a coach or something like that. But if there's one avenue that you're pursuing with something that you love and that avenue isn't working for you, and you know it won't work for you, and it's not bringing you happiness, and it feels like a task, you're disappointed. And so not only is it not bringing you happiness, you're disappointed. Oh man, some of the weekly measure-ups, I was almost in tears. If not, there would have been times I would have been after, frustrated with the lack of change. I could see why people go to other things like using drugs or something, because I felt that frustration. But what I should have done much earlier is just let it go and found something else. So you don't have to do what you love. In my case, I'm doing what I'm talented in, and that's filled the gap that I thought I was going to have not doing the thing that I love. So really think about what you're doing and why you're doing it. What is the purpose? Is it just for a level of attainment, which is what bodybuilding was for me, or fulfillment? part of my bodybuilding and what I wanted to do was to feel more confident, more, for the want of a better expression, more powerful. But what I've found is the results I'm getting in running has given me that confidence that I looked for in bodybuilding, has given me that power I've looked for in bodybuilding because of the results I'm getting in running, because I wasn't getting the results in bodybuilding. So always peel back to the underlying reason why you're doing something. And if you love it, but the way you're approaching it isn't working, find a different approach. Don't persist with something for too long that's not giving you what you're looking for. And understand the root of what you're looking for. Because the irony is, when I got down to 72 kilos, and even today at 74, I got a couple of abs popping out. Never had that in bodybuilding. In fact, I look better now, way better, of course, than I did at 93. Even though I was sizably bigger and stronger, I look better now with much less weight. So that works. 74 kilos now, I will look better at 72 than I do in 74. And I know it. I know it because I've got the photos of how I look at each kilo. And I want to go past 72. I want to get down to 70 and see what that looks like. But it complements my running. The lighter I get, the faster I get at running. By and large, of course, I've still got to recover. And that means having great sleep, eating nutritionally enough, sufficient. So I don't want to go from 72, 74 to 70 fast. It's just a slow thing where I'm just cutting out a few of the silly eating habits and just letting my body just in a form of equilibrium land where it needs to land. I'm not forcing it, but I'm going to be doing the right things where my body will naturally just settle at around about 70. But I check it out. But it's wind all the way back. You don't have to do something to love something. So really have a big think about what it is you're doing and most importantly, how much joy it's bringing you. Because bodybuilding for me brought nothing in the doing element, nothing than frustration. I mean, there were some benefits. I learned how to work hard. I learned how far I can push my muscles. I loved coming home and having muscle soreness for a while. Or there were benefits, there were positives, but overall, yeah, it's something I should have let go of a long time ago. Right, that's the lesson. That's the lesson for today. Give me a thumbs up if there was something in this video that's going to make life easier for you. That is the basis of all my videos on this channel. To make life easier for you, to make life more simple for you, or to improve your performance. That's it. Everything I share in this video, and I've just come across a Guardian article, and I need to fully read it, talking about, and I'm not, but talking about influencers who say one thing and do another. I'm going to read that and find out what's going on there, because everything I share with you in these videos is from personal experience about something that has worked. I will never advocate that you do something that doesn't work, because the primary purpose of me making these videos is me reinforcing to myself what has worked. So I'm making these videos talking about what I know that's worked to reinforce in my mind, to have the discipline to keep them going, because there's benefits to follow them. So not only is the underlying premise of these videos sharing stuff that I know that works, it's an absolute truth, because I need to be sharing that stuff that I know that works, because of making these videos, it reinforces it for myself. So it's interesting. I'm going to read that article. Be really wary of people who say one thing and then do another. I will only share with you what has worked for me, because I need to, because I'm reinforcing the behavior in myself. That's it. Hit subscribe if you want to have more of these videos. The great thing about all of my videos is you don't have to watch them. You can have them on in the background while you're vacuuming the house or cleaning the bathroom or doing a workout. You don't have to watch the video. It's basically a podcast with pictures. And I've got a podcast face maybe. It's an old joke, but anyway. But yeah, you don't have to watch any of my videos. You're never going to miss any footage that you need to see. I will catch you in the next one. Take good care of yourself. Catch up soon. Bye.